Hey, how's it going, folks? I'm back from PAX East 2016. Met a lot of people, had a lot of good times, but let's get straight to the point. The video title says Metroid Prime Federation Force PAX East Impressions, so that's what this video is about. So, of course, this was like the first thing on my list to do because I heard that Federation Force was going to be at the Nintendo booth area. So as soon as like 10 o'clock on that Friday hit, I made a beeline straight towards there, and unsurprisingly, it had the lowest queue because there were a few games there. There was Star Fox Zero, which I didn't pay much mind to because that game came out that day. So I figured, I'll play that when I get back home. There was Kirby Robobot, which I wanted to play more of. Was it a Kirby Planet Robobot or just Kirby Robobot? Either way, I wanted to play that one, but that one had a consistently long line. I didn't, there was other things I wanted to do there. But Federation Force didn't have that much of a big line, so I only had to wait for maybe 5-10 minutes at most. Like even on a Saturday when it was totally busy and swarming with people, I waited a total of like 10 minutes to play the game, and play the game I did. Now, originally, I only played about like 5-6 minutes on that Friday because I jumped in on someone else's game when they had to leave because, it looked like a parent had all his kids and the kids wanted to do something else. It's like, I don't want nothing to do with this, Daddy. It was like, nah. It was kind of hectic, so I didn't get much time to, get a feel of the game. But on Saturday, I did a full playthrough, even got a bit of footage from it with my, phone camera. So maybe throughout this short video, I'll intersplice some footage of it. But, so, ever since the game was revealed last year, I was very neutral stance about it. I made very clear that it's Metroid Prime Federation Force is not what I'm looking for. It disappointed me on that end because it's been nearly 6 years since we had Other M and about 8 years since Prime 3. Mechanically, to me, the best part of the game is that it's Metroid Prime. I'm wondering, is this going to be like Metroid Prime Hunters where I'm using the stylus or am I using the triggers to shoot or anything like that? And no, it's GameCube Prime. Everything you could do, just about everything you can do in that one, you can do in 3DS. You use the L trigger to lock on the enemies. You can hold down the R trigger to keep your gun steady and aim up and, well, sort of. There are two methods of aiming your gun in Federation Force. You can either use the C nipple on new 3DS, which I don't like using because it doesn't have the same feedback as a right analog stick, or you can use the gyroscope aiming, which I know I'll get more use out of when the game gets a retail release because the 3DSs on the PAX booth are strapped down. You really can't move it that much, and I tried to use it when I could, but I know I couldn't get the full benefit of it. But I know I'll get more of that when I actually have the game for myself and I can move that 3DS freely because I actually like gyroscope aiming. I love doing it in Ocarina of Time 3D, Majora's Mask 3D. It's a really good way to get enemies in all sorts of different directions if you don't feel like locking onto them, because again, that still works just like it did in GameCube Prime. But there are also other things, when I locked onto an enemy, I instinctively, hit the B button to dash sideways, and it worked. You can do that again in this game. Use the A button to shoot. You can hold it down to charge up a beam. It has like 3 levels of charge, so that's a little different. And again, mechanically, it's Metroid Prime. Just about everything I can do in that game, I can do here, and I'm happy about that. Now, the thing I'm still very much iffy about is everything else. Aesthetically, it reminds me of Prime a lot of Prime 2, but only because, the heavier emphasis on the Galactic Federation Force, and they had a bit of a prominent role in Prime 2 Echoes. I'm just not down with the art style again, because it's like we're controlling like little chibi Federation Force troopers. Like, even though like they justify that these suits of armor that we're wearing are like 3 times the size of regular humans, when you see the guys outside of their suits, they still like have these tiny ass bodies and these ginormous heads. So it's a different art style. I'd imagine it's very similar to how Zelda fans felt when they saw like Wind Waker for the first time, right after coming off the heels after like Ocarina of Time. It's jarring, and I don't know, it's like when you play Metroid games for as long as I have, you're used to it being at least one particular art style, realistically proportioned. Not, can't say it's all realistic because we're space bounty hunter, so it could be a little loose with the rules like that. But I'm still just not entirely down with the art style. I want to say juvenile, but it's just different, and not a different that I can immediately get down with. But admittedly, when I was in the middle of all the action, shooting crates that get pickups, shooting missiles to open up doors, and blasting space pirates to hell at the end of the demo. I wasn't really thinking about that, so it's just something I can't help but notice when everything's at a standstill and I have time to visually relish the art style. I say relish, that makes it sound I'm looking forward to it, but no, I'm really not. The demo itself, what you're doing in the game is, you know, it shouldn't like last you more than 10-12 minutes. There's even like medals you can get at the end of the session that rewards you for how many points you scored, how long it took you and all that, how much damage taken, I think, and all that. And it didn't last more than 10 minutes. And what you did there was pretty standard. You know, you go around, basic, very basic puzzle solving. Then there's a very longer than necessary boss battle with a generator, which, you know, some people would think it's weird, but then, you know, Prime 1 had a garbage disposal, yeah, like a flamethrower that particularly is designed to piss off bees, so it's not that far-fetched. The battle went on a little longer than necessary because it has a lot of health, and there is a big emphasis on teamwork in Federation Force, obviously, 4-player local co-op, and I'm hoping it doesn't have that. I'm hoping it's one of those where if you have more people, the enemy's health is scaled accordingly, so a single player won't have much to deal with. That's what I'm really wondering, because since you have to play the game with 4 players in this demo, I mean, it was fun, and people like getting together and, you know, shooting this. You know, player 2 will shoot these crates for some health pickups. Player 3 will get the missile key. Player 1 will stare at the ceiling, and player 4 will lollygag for as long as they want to, and that's fun. But I'm hoping the single-player experience, whenever Federation Force comes out, I think it's like August 18th or 19th, close to the 30th anniversary of Metroid, now that I think about it. It's kind of disappointing in that way. I'm hoping there's a single-player adventure that is fulfilling in puzzle design, in upgrades. I know it's a spin-off, but it still has Metroid Prime in its name, so I'm hoping it's as fulfilling as Metroid Prime. And something tells me it's probably not. Don't get your hopes up that high for that, but you never know, and there's still a lot I don't know for this game. But again, mechanically, the best part is that it is very much Metroid Prime. It's not Prime Hunters, which I'm great. I know I don't mean to piss off a lot of Prime Hunter enthusiasts when I say that. I just don't dig the stylus controls, and it tired my hands out. And this one, I can use both hands. I can gyroscope aim. It's Prime. I'm happy about that. I'm still on the fence of just about everything else, but I won't know for sure until the game comes out in August, and when it does, you should be sure as hell that I will give the game a full review, all the little details, what the hell exactly it is you're doing in this one, because, I mean, what do you do with Galactic Federation troopers? You know, especially ones that look so adorable with their multicolored visors, and how does this fit inside the Metroid universe? How can I take this game as seriously as every other Metroid game? Is it canon or not? You know, you never know. I mean, hell, I mean, it could be. You know, I would totally like look past all the visual design elements and quirky character design if it was like the in-between game from Fusion and Metroid 5 whenever that happens. You know, because Metroid Fusion ends with you blowing up the BSL station. Samus is now on the run from the Galactic Federation Force, so who better than to hunt down Samus than these 4 multicolored hulking Galactic Federation Force troopers? And, you know, the game ends with, you know, you finally locating Samus, and then it ends with like a teaser of Metroid 5. My uncle and I were discussing that possibility, and, you know, I'm down with that idea. If this was like the game after Fusion where your true goal is to apprehend Samus Aran, I dig that. I would dig that. Even as a spin-off, that makes sense. Truthfully, it's probably just me wanting some sort of continuation after Fusion, but that would make sense in that regard. And if that's what happens, hey, you know what? Whatever. That I can dig that, sort of, because I'm still not entirely sure of the visual design. But that is Metroid Prime Federation Force. Most likely going to be an even better time with 4-player co-op, all the things you can do together. And again, the one thing I'm not entirely sure of is the single-player stuff, because there's no single-player stuff in Federation Force at the booth. So maybe later down the road, they'll release an eShop demo. Highly doubtful on that. They're probably just going to give us a silent release because they see all those fucking dislike bars. Like, don't you even talk about Federation Force. I'm hitting that dislike button hard. And who knows? But that's what I thought about Federation Force. Mechanically, it's Prime. Everything else, I'm still very much on the fence about. And I don't see that changing until I finally get the full game in my hand this coming August, and that's all I gotta say about that. Anyway, folks, thanks for listening to me ramble for a few minutes. Couldn't even drink my coffee while I realized, like, I got this cup of coffee here, and I probably shouldn't drink it while I'm recording myself. It's kind of rude, but I'm gonna do it anyway. And now the coffee's lukewarm. Great. Ugh, I hate lukewarm coffee. Anyway, this video's gone long enough. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening in. Working on the Earthbound stuff right now. In fact, I even got the Wii U on as I'm getting this video recorded and said and done for the day. But thank you all for listening to what I had to say. You guys all have a fantastic night and take care.